Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the intense father-son showdown where Sonny Corinthos directly confronts Michael Corinthos over suspicions surrounding the brazen shooting of Drew Cain. In the shadowy undercurrents of Port Charles, this pivotal moment unfolds like a storm brewing on the horizon, forcing Sonny, the seasoned mobster with a heart tangled in family loyalties, to probe his own flesh and blood in a way that slices deep into their bond. Picture the dimly lit room at the Corinthos estate, where the air hangs heavy with unspoken accusations, and Sonny's piercing gaze locks onto Michael's, searching for any flicker of guilt amid the flickering candle light from a nearby table. This isn't just a casual chat, it's a raw, unfiltered interrogation born from whispers of betrayal and the desperate need to shield his son from the jaws of justice. Sonny, ever the protector despite his rough edges, hesitates before dropping the bomb, his voice gravelly as he asks point-blank if Michael pulled the trigger on Drew, a man who's navigated more near-death experiences than most could imagine in a lifetime. Michael's response is a masterclass in deflection, his words dancing around the truth like shadows evading the light, neither confirming nor denying the grave allegation that hangs between them. He leans back in his chair, eyes steady but evasive, insisting with a quiet conviction that he won't be the one the authorities pin this on, as if he's already mapped out the labyrinth of evidence that will inevitably point elsewhere. But how does Michael possess such unshakable certainty, as though he's glimpsed the future script of this unfolding drama? Is it blind faith in the system's blind spots, or does he harbor insider knowledge from late-night strategy sessions with unlikely allies? Sonny, no stranger to the art of deception himself, can't shake the nagging doubt that Michael's composure masks a deeper secret, one that could unravel everything if exposed. This exchange echoes the high-stakes games Sonny has played for decades, from boardroom power plays to back-alley deals, yet confronting his son feels profoundly personal, stirring memories of past family crises like the time Michael vanished into the Quartermaine world, straining their already fragile connection. As the conversation deepens, Sonny's mind races with a flurry of protective impulses, contemplating the lengths he'll go to fortify Michael's position against the encroaching investigation. With Drew's shooting still fresh in the headline's bullet wounds that nearly claimed the life of a congressional hopeful, the pressure mounts, and Sonny envisions scenarios where he must intervene decisively, perhaps by silencing potential loose ends like Jacinda Bracken, the enigmatic figure whose name keeps surfacing in hushed tones. Jacinda, with her mysterious past tied to Port Charles' underbelly, including rumored connections to international smugglers and a penchant for vanishing acts, represents a wild card that could tip the scales toward disaster. Sonny paces the room, his mind replaying fragments of old vendettas, wondering if eliminating her from the picture would be the ultimate act of paternal sacrifice, much like how he shielded Dandy or Christina from his world's dangers in the past. Yet, this internal turmoil leaves Sonny adrift, unable to discern truth from deception in Michael's words, a vulnerability that gnaws at him like an untreated wound. This unease mirrors the sharp confrontation Tracy Quartermaine unleashed on Michael earlier, when she cornered him in the opulent Quartermaine mansion, her eagle eyes spotting him lurking near Drew's residence on the fateful night of the attack. Tracy, the matriarch with a tongue sharper than any knife, didn't mince words, accusing him of foul play with the precision of a seasoned detective, drawing parallels to her own history of family cover-ups during the ELQ Empire's turbulent days. Michael's silence then was deafening, much like now, fueling Tracy's suspicions that he's inherited more than just the Quartermaine fortune. He's got their knack for intricate schemes too. Sonny, hearing echoes of Tracy's warnings through the grapevine, feels the weight of isolation. If even the Quartermaines are circling, how long before the noose tightens around Michael? This convergence of doubts from two powerhouse families underscores the fragility of Michael's position, hinting at a larger web of alliances and rivalries that could either save him or seal his fate. Sonny's growing apprehension centers on Michael's apparent naivety, a blind spot that could transform this calculated risk into a catastrophic blunder amid the relentless pursuit by the PCPD. Despite the recent spectacle of Nina Reeves and Willow Tate being dragged into custody on explosive charges of conspiracy and attempted murder charges that paint them as architects of a plot against a prominent politician, Sonny senses Michael's entanglement runs far deeper, like roots twisting underground unseen. Willow, the resilient nurse who's weathered her own storms from cancer battles to custody wars, now faces scrutiny that Sonny knows is manufactured, a diversion that might backfire spectacularly. Michael, in a bold move reminiscent of his corporate takedowns at ELQ, appears to have orchestrated Willow's implication to deflect suspicion, planting clues that tie her to the crime scene with surgical precision. But this gambit, while clever on paper, overlooks the ripple effects. Nina's impulsive fake alibi, born from her fierce loyalty to Willow after their shared Metro Court history, now binds their fates inextricably, turning what was meant to be a smokescreen into a bonfire of guilt by association. The intricacies of Michael's frame-up reveal layers of premeditation that scream his involvement, starting with the pilfering of Edward Quartermaine's prized antique revolver, a relic from the family's Prohibition-era escapades, engraved with intricate family crests and loaded with historical bullets that forensics could trace back generations. How else could Michael have accessed this heirloom, tucked away in the Quartermaine vaults, unless he exploited his insider status during a late-night visit under the guise of reconciliation talks, planting it at Elizabeth Baldwin's cozy lakeside home, where Willow has been crashing amid her personal upheavals, was a stroke of ruthless ingenuity. But it also spotlights Michael's intimate knowledge of the layout and routines there. Elizabeth, the steadfast nurse with her own tangled romances involving Jason and Franco's ghosts, might unwittingly become a key witness if she recalls any odd visitors that night. This setup not only implicates Willow, but shatters Michael's alibi, a flimsy narrative involving a fabricated business meeting that Sonny sniffed out from the start. Thanks to his network of informants, whispering inconsistencies, Jacinda Bracken emerges as the linchpin in this precarious alibi, her reliability now a glaring question mark that could drag Michael under if she cracks under pressure. With her background in shadowy freelance work, perhaps smuggling artifacts or feeding tips to rival syndicates, Jacinda's loyalty might waver when faced with the full force of the law, especially if promises of leniency tempt her. Sonny, drawing from his own playbook of eliminating threats during the Jerome family wars, contemplates neutralizing this vulnerability before it explodes, envisioning a quiet disappearance or a coerced recantation to buy Michael time. Yet, this path risks fracturing their father-son trust irreparably, echoing the fallout from Sonny's past decisions that cost him Carly's unwavering support. As tensions simmer, Sonny grapples with the moral tightrope, balancing his empire's code against the primal drive to preserve his legacy through Michael, who seems poised on the edge of a chasm. In the broader tapestry of Port Charles intrigue, this shooting ripples outward, potentially reigniting old feuds like the Casa Dini Quartermaine rivalries or drawing in unexpected players such as Ava Jerome, whose gallery dealings might intersect with the antique gun's provenance. Michael's confidence hints at contingency plans may be encrypted files on a hidden drive outlining escape routes or payoffs to key officers, but Sonny fears these are illusions in the face of Anna Devane's unyielding investigation, bolstered by her Interpol ties. As the evidence mounts, from ballistics matching the gun to eyewitness glimpses of a figure fleeing Drew's property under the cover of a stormy night, the walls close in. Willow's arrest, far from exonerating Michael, amplifies the stakes, forcing him to juggle deception with his genuine concern for her, complicated by their shared history of Willow's marriage to his brother Chase. Sonny's dilemma peaks in a moment of solitary reflection on the waterfront docks, where the lapping wave remind him of lost opportunities to steer Michael away from this path earlier, perhaps during the warehouse shootouts that defined his youth. If Jacinda becomes the weak link, Sonny's intervention could manifest as an anonymous tip rerouting suspicion or something more permanent, aligning with his reputation as the untouchable enforcer. Yet, redemption arcs in Port Charles often twist unexpectedly. Could Michael come clean, revealing a third party like Valentine Casadini pulling strings for leverage over the Quartermaines. Or might Drew's survival and testimony flip the script, exposing Michael's hand in a courtroom showdown that rivals the Spencer's iconic trials? Viewers are left on the edge, pondering if this fracture will mend their bond or shatter it beyond repair as the shadows of consequence lengthen over the Corinthos clan. NEXT, we will dive deep into the explosive drama unfolding in Port Charles for the week of October 20th to 24th, where secrets, betrayals, and unexpected twists threaten to shatter lives across the board. In the heart of the chaos, Harrison Chase emerges as a relentless force, setting his sights squarely on Michael Corinthos with an intensity that could redefine alliances in the city. Chase, driven by a sense of unyielding justice, uncovers layers of deception surrounding Michael's recent actions, particularly the suspicious circumstances of a shooting that has left Willow Tate in peril. As Chase delves deeper, he pieces together evidence suggesting Michael's involvement goes far beyond mere coincidence, potentially framing Willow to protect his own interests. This pursuit isn't just professional for Chase. It's personal, as it tests his loyalty to the badge and forces him to confront the blurred lines between right and wrong in Port Charles elite circles. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan finds himself entangled in a web of complications that demand his sharp instincts and unwavering resolve. Jason's current mess involves navigating the fallout from his divided loyalties, where protecting old friends clashes with emerging threats from shadowy figures lurking in the background. His attempts to clean up the situation reveal hidden connections to international intrigue, pulling him into a high-stakes game where one wrong move could endanger those closest to him. Adding to the mounting tension, echoes from Nathan West's enigmatic history resurface, casting a long shadow of peril over the present-day storyline. Nathan's past, riddled with unresolved mysteries from his time entangled in covert operations, begins to unravel in ways that expose vulnerabilities no one anticipated. Whispers of old enemies and buried scandals suggest that Nathan's return to Port Charles is as straightforward as it seems, with potential assassins or vengeful associates closing in. This resurgence of danger not only jeopardizes Nathan's fragile stability, but also ripples outward, forcing key players to reevaluate trusts formed over years of shared battles. Portia Robinson's world tilts dramatically as she grapples with the shocking revelation of her pregnancy, a development that amplifies her ongoing turmoil over the child's paternity. Caught between the magnetic pull of Curtis Ashford's familiar charm and the enigmatic allure of Isaiah Gannon, Portia faces a dilemma that stirs deep emotional currents. Curtis, with his steady presence and shared history at the hospital, represents stability. Yet Isaiah's mysterious background introduces an element of unpredictability that both excites and terrifies her. As Portia navigates these conflicting emotions, she must also contend with the practical challenges of her condition morning sickness that hampers her shifts at General Hospital and a growing fatigue that makes secrecy increasingly difficult. The true test comes in her interactions with her daughter, Trina Robinson, whose perceptive nature could unravel the entire facade. Trina, ever the intuitive observer, picks up on subtle cues like Portia's unexplained absences, her mother's uncharacteristic mood swings, and even physical changes that hint at the truth. A heated confrontation might erupt during a quiet family dinner, where Trina's probing questions push Portia to the brink, demanding honesty in a moment of raw vulnerability. Yet, even as Portia buys time, the inevitability of the news spreading looms large, compelling her to strategize revelations that could either mend or fracture family bonds forever. Shifting to the opulent, yet treacherous Quartermaine mansion, Tracy Quartermaine locks horns with the cunning Veronica Ronibard in a feud that's escalating into full-blown warfare. Tracy, ever the shrewd matriarch, smells fraud from miles away and launches a meticulous campaign to expose Ronnie's motives, enlisting private investigators and combing through financial records for any sign of deceit. Ronnie, portraying herself as a long-lost relative with impeccable charm, counters with subtle manipulations that sow doubt among the family, perhaps fabricating documents or staging emotional scenes to gain sympathy. The mansion becomes a battleground of whispered accusations and slammed doors, with lavish dinners turning into interrogations and heirlooms used as leverage in their power plays. Tracy's determination hits roadblocks when Ronnie allies with unexpected Quartermaine members, creating rifts that Tracy must navigate with her trademark wit and resilience. This clash not only threatens the family's legacy, but also uncovers forgotten skeletons in the Quartermaine closet, adding layers of intrigue to what started as a simple inheritance dispute. Nathan West's ambitious push to reclaim his position on the Port Charles police force hits turbulent waters, as dark secrets from his undercover days threaten to torpedo his comeback. Nathan, fueled by a desire for redemption, submits applications and meets with commissioners, but lurking threats from his past associations, perhaps ties to organized crime rings he once infiltrated, begin to surface. These sinister elements manifest anonymous tips to the department, anonymous harassment that escalates to outright sabotage, painting Nathan as unreliable or worse, compromised. Anna Devane, the seasoned spy with an unquenchable thirst for truth, immerses herself in the investigation, tracing Nathan's timeline and extending her probe to Britt Westburn's unexplained absences. Anna's journey leads her down a perilous path linked to the infamous Caesar Faison, whose legacy of manipulation and danger still echoes through espionage circles. As Anna uncovers coded messages and hidden files related to Faison's operations, she unwittingly attracts the attention of remnants from his network, leading to close calls like a tampered car or a shadowy figure tailing her through the docks. This quest for answers endangers not just Anna but potentially draws in her allies, highlighting the high price of digging too deep in Port Charles' underbelly. Jason Morgan's indiscretion about Jocelyn Jack's involvement with the WSB ignites a powder keg, sparking a ferocious confrontation between Carly Spencer and Jack Brennan that could torch their budding romance. Carly, fiercely protective of her daughter, feels utterly betrayed by the revelation, her trust in Brennan crumbling under the weight of withheld information. Their argument unfolds in a stormy scene at the Metro Court, where accusations fly, Carly labeling Brennan secretive and opportunistic, while he defends his silence, necessary caution. This blow-up exposes fractures in their relationship, with Carly questioning every shared moment and Brennan struggling to rebuild the bridge he's helped burn. Jason, caught in the crossfire, faces the sting of Carly's disappointment for not disclosing sooner, straining their deep-rooted friendship that has weathered countless crises. The added complication of Brennan's ominous threat involving the Steinmoor project looms over Britt Westburn, where he dangles the possibility of institutionalizing her unless she divulges project details, perhaps experimental tech or covert medical trials she spearheaded. Britt, already resentful of Jason's prioritization of Carly, bristles at the pressure, her defiance potentially leading to a tactical alliance or explosive outburst that reshapes her future. In the midst of the turmoil, Jocelyn Jack seeks solace in the arms of S. Vaughn, whose steady support becomes a lifeline amid Carly's righteous anger. As Jocelyn confides her fears and frustrations, their chemistry reignites, tempting them to cross professional boundaries set by WSB protocols. A late-night conversation in a secluded safe house might evolve into stolen kisses, with Vaughn's reassurance melting Jocelyn's reservations, though the risk of discovery adds a thrilling edge to their forbidden connection. This potential rekindling not only complicates Jocelyn's covert role, but also invites scrutiny from higher-ups, testing whether passion will override duty. Drew Kane channels his military precision into a fervent mission to liberate Willow Tate from her unjust predicament, vowing to redirect blame onto Michael Corinthos for the shooting that ensnared her. Drew's determination manifests in late-night strategy sessions, where he pores over ballistics reports and witness statements, building an airtight case that implicates Michael in a deliberate setup. This crusade pits Drew against Michael's formidable resources, leading to tense standoffs in boardrooms and shadowy meetings that reveal Michael's ruthless side. Chase, swayed by Willow's compelling narrative of being framed, joins the fray with vigor, launching his own probe that uncovers digital footprints and alibi discrepancies pointing to Michael's orchestration. However, this alliance strains Chase's marriage to Brooklyn Quartermaine, as her Quartermaine loyalties clash with his pursuit of justice. Arguments erupt over dinner tables, with Brooklyn accusing Chase of overstepping into family matters, while he defends his integrity, creating a rift that could culminate in counseling sessions or even temporary separations. The week's events promise a whirlwind of revelations, from paternity puzzles to espionage perils, keeping Port Charles on the edge of its seat with every twist and turn. As the dust settles on these seismic shifts, ABC General Hospital teases more heart-pounding developments that will leave fans reeling, so tune in daily for the unmissable mayhem in Port Charles.